As a professional marine biologist operating out of my research center on the Honolulu River, it's always important that I have people that I can work with close by who have a really good working knowledge of boats, especially rescue boats and salvage services, because as a biologist, sometimes out in the water we sink our boats, not on purpose but accidentally, and we need to have people around to help come save us. Joe Lacona is the one person in the boatyard here in Honolulu that's remarkably good about being able to salvage and help people out at sea, including our research teams that come over from University of Hawaii, NOAA, USGS, and other places. Today, though, this was a different story. I got a call early in the morning from the University of Hawaii saying one of their weather buoys had broken loose the night before and was drifting out to sea. So I got a hold of Joe, and he went out in his Zodiac with the team of people here locally from Honolulu to rescue the buoy. Ed Haley's a marine biologist along with myself, and Matt, one of Joe's professional divers, and Mike Sheehan, and we took off in Joe's Zodiac to go get this rescue this buoy that's floating out to sea. There simply aren't many people that know how to do a rescue operation, whether it's a buoy or a boat. Joe's incredibly good. He builds his own boats. He's been operating up and down the north shore of Kauai here now for over 30 years. He knows the waves, he knows the reefs, he knows the entire area and all the currents. So he was pretty much one of the only guys that would go out in rough seas like we had today and try to haul this expensive buoy back to shore. So as soon as we located it via GPS that was transmitting off the buoy, we jumped in the water because we needed to find out if the buoy was still connected to this big thick chain that's over 400 feet long. It was fascinating. As soon as I jumped in with my movie camera and started seeing all of the fish that were cruising along underneath this floating buoy. There were baby kahala, baby nenui, all these different fish, pilot fish. It was really cool. So Matt free dove down the chain to find if we could see a link in it, along with Haley, checking out the situation because we couldn't tow the buoy back with its long chain. So we had to dive down repeatedly and see if there was a place where we could untie the chain, or maybe find a weak link or something to where we could cut the chain if we were going to be able to bring this buoy all the way back to shore to Honolulu. Finally, we found an area on the chain that had a link with a bolt in it. So Matt swam on down with the pair of pliers and vice grips to try to undo this bolt and see if we could remove that from the long chain, break it free, so we could get the buoy back to shore. After a bunch of attempts, Matt couldn't get the bolt loose. It had just simply frozen, being underwater for a year. So I put on my scuba gear and went down and tried to get the bolt loose scuba diving because I have a lot more time underwater. Well, it turned out I couldn't get the boat loose at all, but we did find a weak place in the chain where we could cut it. So the long chain sunk to the floor. Matt went back out and tied a rope onto the buoy. All of this was really extremely difficult to do. The seas were big that day. It was really windy and rough, and we're bouncing all over the place, and you don't want to get bopped on the head with this heavy buoy. And then the buoy, because we had to sit in the same place for a half an hour, started to sink the boat. We actually had water coming into the back of the boat trying to tow this thing back to shore, so we had to bail the whole way. It was really quite an event and a workout that took us over half of a day. Towing the buoy back into the Honolulu boatyard up the Honolulu River was interesting. All of our friends were coming in their Zodiacs after surfing and looking at us going, what in the world are we doing here? Matt at one point in time actually had to walk the buoy over the sandbar because the river's so clogged and shallow. Once we got it back, Joe knew exactly what to do. This is just part of his work as a salvage company and a marine engineer. And so they hooked the buoy up to a chain, and then Mike went and got one of the big tractors that he has down at the boatyard. and Noah are very lucky to have this buoy back, safe and sound in the boatyard for them to put back out in the water. And I have to thank Joe Lacona for his very, very hard work that day and wear and tear on his boat to bring that thing back in safely. Joe also does incredible programs where he takes out divers, research divers from all around the world when they come to the North Shore to help me with my coral studies. He's taken out the NOAA divers, the UHGS divers, the UH divers. So once again, it's really nice to have someone around locally here in Honolulu that knows how to do this type of hardcore water work out in the sea. Thank you for watching.